allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't even know if it's recording. Yes, it is. Okay.
Okay, roll call. Mark, here. Angie. Gene is still ill. He won't be here. We do have a quorum. We'll continue with the meeting. I'd like a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the last regular meeting on 6/15/22.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye. So approved. Board members report. Mark, you got anything?
I do not have it.
Okay. Angie, you got anything you wanna?
I do have a thing. I gave Kathy a thing about from the AWWA that said we have been accounting for our water losses. Terminology we use isn't right, and it's got percentage. It's supposed to be called non-revenue water.
Yeah.
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 You know about that.
Yeah.
And it shows the breakdown of it. And so you allow so much of a percentage for loss in leaks of the pipe, so much for depth, so much for meter fault. And so the water loss isn't really loss, you know,
Yeah, it's kind of, I thought it was more of an industry term.
Yes, it is, yes, industry, so it's supposed to be non-revenue water.
Okay.
And so I did that to Kathy already, and she's gonna incorporate that into our reports.
Okay, very good. I lost mine. Okay, managers report. Ms. Kathy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of made this a little longer than I probably should have. I
Okay.
forgot it was going to be so hot in here. All right.
Talk fast.
What?
Talk fast.
I know, I'm going to try. The call will come in sometime next week to let us know about appointments to deliver the shed. So I'm excited about that, and Mark and Aaron are already coordinating to get that ready to go. Rena and I will be going over the year-end financials next week. Kalamazoo is all of a sudden very interested in water, but until we get that meter, which I have an email into Chuck, but I haven't heard back yet. He's supposed to be bringing it out with him next time he comes to town, and just I'm not sure when that's going to be, but we're saving on the freight.
Are they just counting trucks like as far as like 2,500 gallons of truck?
Exactly. What I'm doing is I'm having Aaron do a work order for each time he goes out and to see how many times it fills up, and so we'll be able to do it that way. I will begin training Jennifer next week on bookkeeping duties in anticipation of Annie starting hopefully at the beginning of August. I just talked with her again tonight, so as soon as I'm ready, she's coming on board. I haven't heard any word on the ARPA funds as of yet. Our right-of-way is still kind of floating out there. She's almost finished with the BLM, our contact with the BLM. She's just got one more question, and I wanted to ask you guys about this. There was a notation, and I attached it to my stuff for you guys. There was a notation in the original right-of-way and the addendum right-of-way about a spring and a tap that was supposed to have been installed, and then Fish and Game was supposed to keep it maintained. I didn't know anything about it.
In the right way?
She's not even sure it happened. Oh, over by the well. Yeah, over on Big Wash. Over next to the
There's
well.
nothing on the line itself.
She's not even sure it got done. She does have an email in, but I told her I'd ask you.
Chuck and I were up there a couple of times, and we were up there a year ago,
Yeah.
when we went and inspected the stuff that they said was hazardous waste. And there was, I walked down and up, the line.
Yeah, we were up there for a long time.
There's nothing up there.
All right, that's probably what Fish and Game will confirm too.
Yeah.
So, we don't have anything on the funding for ARPA yet, but I don't think we're receiving any direct monies for ARPA,
No.
correct?
We
Okay.
won't.
Yeah, that's all just gonna be a reimbursement thing. Let's see, or a direct payment, right? Isn't that
So it'd be a
what-
direct payment.
That's what, and I
Yeah,
think that's
on
what
invoice.
Mark,
Should
your
the
research
contract
says too.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The ARPA funds isn't something that the funds are gonna be channeled through us.
No,
It's
no,
more
no,
the
no, it's-
paperwork
it's,
that we just supply on billing, and then
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
the county
Exactly.
reimburses
Yeah,
them
we
directly.
funding and everything goes through them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't have an update on the election as of yet. I do have a call into him to find out if that's still a go or not, since we don't have anybody,
Okay.
any
Yeah,
other petitions.
Any
Any
when I was
nominations?
there last week, it was no, but there, because there weren't enough people filling out.
Right, and I'm not sure if we're
petitions.
supposed to request that it be canceled, or if he just
No,
notifies us.
he has to go to the board of supervisors
Right.
and say, not enough people filled out petitions.
Right.
Or got petitions.
That's
turned
what I
in.
thought, but I just,
Yeah.
I said that.
And then he'll call us and say, you guys are set.
And that's
Well, I think we
faithfully
need
did.
something in writing
Oh,
from them
yeah.
also.
Oh, yeah, they'll supply
Yeah,
it,
yeah, okay. Okay.
All right, so that's thankfully it for me.
Old business, we need to keep this on the old business, the upcoming copper and lead compliance. We'll just keep it on old business until we hear more from them, because they're still not making their minds up. You know, they've changed too many times for us to start.
Yeah, and in April, our operator is coordinating, giving the speaker to come and talk to us and all that.
Okay, oh, so you'll learn a little more.
Oh, yeah, no, she's been working on it.
Okay, all
Very
right, cool.
diligently.
Yeah, very
And
diligent.
Yeah.
And they've changed, since I printed, 2 weeks ago, I printed the reporting, they had a form, EPA had a form, and they gave it to ADEQ for us to fill out, and for when the testing, they've changed it already, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they changed them all.
Oh, yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
so
One of these days,
I'm
somebody will
gonna-
make up their mind.
It's a lot.
We're just gonna have to wait until it's due,
Yeah, yeah.
to fill it out,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm not too worried about it if we wait until a month before it's due. We don't have that much to do,
No.
Well, hopefully not that short of.
Well, still, we don't have that much to do.
Well, it's gonna be, hopefully we'll get at least the lines, the replacement lines
Yeah,
started,
great.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
It
before,
won't be a hodgepodge.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
because that'll
yeah.
be a super mess.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Of course, we can get extensions too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we're
that's
so
easy to get
small.
extensions.
Yeah, will be one of many.
Oh, yeah, it could be one a minute. Yeah, very possible.
So I need a motion.
Okay, moving on to new business. Oh,
We need a motion to,
oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you're okay.
Yeah, make a motion and a second to keep this on the old business.
I'm
Motion.
Okay,
I'll
done.
motion.
All right. New business. It says discussion, we're not going to discuss this much. We've had several conversations with the state attorney about the emergency response plan. We are going to, as a board, meet and discuss what we're going to redact from this. Most of it will be redacted. And I don't see it coming out for the public for 60 to 90 days. And we got to sit down and put our brains together and in coordination with the loan people.
USDA or.
The USDA,
Yeah.
yeah. And their restrictions are pretty tight.
They're stiff.
Yeah, they're very stiff, so there'll be very little.
Yeah, because they say, it says right there on the plan, do not give this to anyone.
Yeah,
But after talking to them, they told us what parts we're allowed to tell
Okay.
people
yeah.
and what parts we can't. So we'll have to go through it and
They have
reform
a
it.
form, right? Don't they?
Yeah, they have a
There's
form. Yeah, in fact,
Okay.
I've got
That
it.
we can
I've
use.
got a form, yeah.
Okay, let's,
Well, I
like a
just wanted to
motion.
say one more thing.
Okay,
Yeah, Jenny. Because we do not have our own water, we buy our water from somebody else. The only things that could happen to us in an emergency is if we had a sabotage or something. And, I mean, we have guarantee from Valley Pioneer for, so many acre feet of water
Yeah,
for a
60.
month.
We only use like 20, what's
Yeah.
60 a year? We only use like
Yeah.
22, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, so, it's not anything that we really have to worry about unless something happens down at their end.
Yeah.
So-
They have quite a,
They
they
have-
have a lot, very good redundancy.
Oh, yeah, very good,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, I think we'll put a motion to that we will just put it in the old business and keep it on there for the next couple months until we get it
We'll
settled.
get it done, yeah.
Yeah, so a motion and a second.
I'm,
Okay. Okay, next item, open call to the public.
Since the last meeting, I have received the feedback that my return to this room last month to report that the chairman had just told me to shut up was unbecoming. I would have to agree, and I admit I am embarrassed that I allowed the bullying to affect my demeanor. But what are the adjectives to describe the behaviors displayed prior to and following mine? Being rudely interrupted by false information declared in order to rile up a crowd of people who have not attended a single meeting this fiscal year. Shouting, "Because she's a liar," to the above reference felt like a lynch mob. Failing to respond to the discreet emails that I have sent to Chuck and Angie requesting acknowledgement of Angie's blatant error and Chuck's juvenile behavior. The failure of the board to set a full meeting to discuss the lack of courtesy and professionalism as prescribed in its own policy. The hostile environment I face each month. I have countless adjectives, but I only have 3 minutes. The behavior of this board has become bizarre and would be completely unacceptable in any other adult meeting. How much worse that it occurs in a public entity, a special taxing district, a water utility board of directors meeting. Second, I have unacknowledged emails containing my feelings toward the board's total lack of attendance at the Board of Supervisors meeting on July 11th. I was there. I spoke. Not one person from this board showed up. Minimal responsibility would have every board member there. Medium responsibility would include advertising and recruitment of customers to attend. Appropriate responsibility and gratitude for a $1 million gift that solves so many of our problems would have all of that, plus making sure the auditorium was filled with customers giving a standing ovation. I gave her a silent standing ovation. They thought I represented chloride. That is extremely ironic. This ARPA grant came our way solely by the work of Jean Bishop. Numbers were provided at her request, yes, but not a single action taken by the board can be credited for its successful passage. That same goes for the CDB grant. Shame on that. Thirdly, we have finally addressed the emergency response plan a year later only because the Arizona Attorney General's office forced it, and 60 to 90 days is really not necessary and ridiculous. The vacant seat remains vacant. Do I need to approach Supervisor Visit to make an appointment? I'm so relieved to hear that there will be people be elected and legally appointed here. I can tell you how that works. I've told you before in a previous email. You can refer to that. Will you be in touch with Rural Water Association of Arizona? The lead and copper testing would be a non-issue here. If you would be in touch with them, they'll tell you what to do. We don't have to spend any time on this. They've got it laid out for you. And yes, the ARPA grant is coming. What are you doing to be ready? What steps are you taking now? I make a great ally. Obviously, I've learned to be a tough adversary. I once procured $1 million settlement out of court
Thank you.
on my
Time's up.
own.
I'd like a motion to.
I don't know why
adjourn the
there
meeting.
needs to be ugliness
Motion.
here. I'm not
Okay.
participating in it.
Still moved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
You know,